Good morning, guys. Welcome back to Pavonine Studios Beauty and Art. I realized the other day when I was reviewing and editing and stuff my last video that I never say what my name is. And I'm like, these people don't know who you are. Introduce yourself. So I thought I'd do that today. My name is Amy and welcome. So today I am going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to show you how you can make an eyeliner, a liquid eyeliner, out of any eyeshadow that you own, plus a couple of other things. This is something that this is not new, this is not my idea, nothing like that, but I have seen it a few places and I thought I'm gonna try that, and I did, and I was like, this is so cool, because I of late have been super frustrated with not being able to find eyeliners that are colorful. This is one of the eyeliners from Artista, which is from Shop Miss A. I have dark green, dark purple, dark blue, black, brown. Those are great. I like those colors. I use those kinds of colors all the time. But sometimes a person wants something a little bit different. And I thought, you know, I'd like to have a yellow, and I'd like to have something that was more sparkly, but I don't want to use a pencil. So I've been experimenting a little bit and think I have worked out at least some of the kinks here. Now, I'm not a pro or anything like that, but I wanted to share. So you're only going to need a couple of things in addition to the eyeshadow that you want to turn into a liner. One thing that I have found is really helpful is a little spatula kind of like this. You don't have to use this. You can use the back end of some tweezers, just something that you can scrape a little bit of eyeshadow out onto a surface. Now, with regards to the surface, I recommend you use a mirror, a plate, a glass like candle holder type thing, something, a palette, an actual makeup palette, something that's not absorbent, because you don't want your mixing medium to absorb into like a paper plate or something like that. You'll have a little bit longer working time if you do it on something that's non-absorbent. For the mixing medium, I have been using the Inglot Duraline, and I really like it. It makes things nice and fluid and a lot like a liquid eyeliner. Alternatively, you might have in your possession already the NYX Multitasker Mixing Medium. Now, this is something that I don't have a lot of experience with, but it is a much thicker consistency, and it seems like it's a little bit more matte. The viscosity seems to make a little bit of a difference as far as the color that you get from the eyeshadows. So I feel like this one will take away some of the brightness, make a little bit darker some of the shadows. This will do the same thing. So that's something to keep in mind. Definitely, I suggest experiment on the back of your hand, that kind of thing, before you do the full glam look and then go in with something and it ends up being completely different than what you thought it would be. So this little guy right here, he's about, I think he's about $11 at Ulta. And the Duraline's a little bit more from Inglot. I got mine at Macy's. This guy is about $18, I think. So, and you use a drop. I'm serious. When you take your eyeshadow and you take your medium, you need a drop of this, because you don't want it too runny. You don't want it, you want to be able to control it. I am going to take a couple of different kinds of eyeshadow. For the look I have on today, I turned one of my Cliona shadows into an eyeliner. So I used the color Spire, which is a really nice dark blue with a purple shift. Very pretty. Very pretty. I mixed it. I actually used the mirror on my palette to mix that, and you know, it's one of the more subtle ones of the Cliona shadows that I've used. If I make one out of Smolder, which is this guy right here, the results are a little bit different, a little bit more shifty looking, I think. I think this is super pretty. I went ahead and went all the way from my wing all the way into the inner corner, but then I have lashes on, so you don't really get to see it so much on the actual upper lash line. So I will insert some pictures before I put on my lashes. Hopefully that will show you a little bit better. I was so excited to, like, not discover it, but really play around with this and get some different looks. So I'm going to use a few different shadows. I will show you at least one with the Cliona shadows. I will show you at least one with the shadows I got off Etsy from Monique Boulay. I will show you some looks using some inexpensive shadows in addition to some that are a little bit more high-end, just so that you get a variety of examples from indie to high-end to more affordable type of stuff, just so that you can see what some of the results are. So this is definitely a technique where you can take any eyeshadow, and turn it into a liquid form. So I'm gonna switch over my camera so that we're focusing down on my palette and my eyeshadows and the medium, and I will just show you examples on the back of my hand. So this will be a little bit different video for me. All right, with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. Okay guys, I've not filmed a video like this before, so bear with me. I've got a few different shades out here on my plate. This is just a plate. So I have the Monique Boulay shadow from Etsy. I will leave all the links to these products down below. And this is the shade Oil Slick. This little bit right here is the shade Trefoil from Cliona Cosmetics. This is kind of an olivey green from the Natasha Denona Metropolis palette. This is a shade from the Morphe 3502, I believe, palette. This is a shade from the Alexis Stone Revolution palette. This is a shade from the Profusion Kaleidoscope palette. And last but not least, this is a shade from the BH Cosmetics 42 shade matte palette. And then here in the center, I've got a little blob of one of the glitters from the Profusion Kaleidoscope palette. And I don't have, you can see that I don't have a lot here on my plate. And you do not need a lot of shadow to make a liner for one look. And this isn't really the kind of thing, at least I have not discovered how you can make these, like how you can keep them. So I don't think that there's something that you can make extra of and save for later. So I am just adding one drop. Probably don't even need that much for this guy because there's not as much there. And I am using the Inglot, the NYX multi-action multitasker. This stuff right here is thicker, and so, but I would use approximately the same amount. I just happen to like the Inglot one better, at least so far. And I've got a variety of brushes here. You can see they're all liner brushes, and I just grabbed everything that I had that I thought would work. So we're just going to dive right in, and I'm going to show you how I would mix these. So, and you can always go back and add more Inglot. Looks like my brush wasn't completely clean here. Ah, well, such is life. So this is the one from the BH Cosmetics palette. And this is the one from the Kaleidoscope palette from Profusion. So you can see that I'm using a lot of different qualities of eyeshadows here. So I'm not using all fancy stuff, or all cheap stuff for that matter. And I don't know if you'll be able to see, but on this one that I just did, I got a little carried away. Focus. There we go. So you can see right here, I got a little carried away with the Inglot on this blue one. And so it is bleeding just a little bit. And it's much darker than it started out. So this is just something to keep in mind when you're doing this. You can see that this one is already dry. So the Inglot does not take a long time to dry. Okay, so now we're going to mix together the Alexis Stone X Revolution, and this is like the crappiest. Look at that bullshit. Oh well. Once again, real life. So I'm, be sure you get all the like little lumps and bumps and stuff out as much as you can. And again, this is much darker than it was in the palette. And I will try to remember to insert pictures of all these colors that I use so that you can see the comparison between what I'm getting on my hand versus what came out of the palette. All right, now we are going to move on to the Morphe 3502, I believe. Got a little free with the Inglot here. So you just want something that's fluid, that will move and let you get the lines, the kind of lines that you like. Of course, your brush makes a big difference. So there's that one. A little too much Inglot. Okay, so now we're going to move on to, this is the Natasha Denona. This is a matte also. So far we've just been doing mattes. So there's the kind of a olivey green. That's really pretty. I'm gonna have to remember that because I really like that. And you just, it's hard to find colors that are bright and intense and different. It's hard to find eyeliners that are nice and bright and, I don't know, interesting, that are in a pen or even in a gel liner. I'm sure that they're out there and I just haven't looked well enough. So this is the Cleona Trefoil. And let me tell you, I have done this one, or these before, these Cleona shadows. And they make stunning liners. I mean, just fantastic. And you really don't get to see the shift until they are drier. But you can still see some of the shift. So pretty. I mean, the mattes are great. The mattes, I love being able to do the mattes. So now we are going to, hey, I think I didn't put a little blob of Inglot here for the Natasha. No, this is the Monique Boulet. Forgot to put a drop of Inglot on there. And this is like the tiniest brush. And this is the color Oil Slick. And this is also a multi-chrome. This is a really pretty one. This is just pretty plain and simple. This is probably not the kind of brush that I would use for doing this, just because it's so tiny. On the other hand, you do get a really nice little fine point. But again, you definitely get that shifty look. And then, last but not least, I'm going to take a different kind of brush, and I am going to smoosh that around in the glitter. Now this is, like I mentioned, this was one of the glitters from the Kaleidoscope palette, and so it's already kind of a smooshy kind of consistency. But I was like, you know, I think if you mixed the inglot, with a glitter like this, you're probably gonna get better, maybe not payoff, but better adhesion. And who doesn't want that for their glitter? So let's see if this works. Oh yeah, see, that works. Now, one thing you have to keep in mind when you're doing this with a glitter is that some glitters have a like a base to them, like a different color of a base. So that is something that would come through when you add your mixing medium. At any rate, I think you guys get the idea here. And it's just something that I wanted to point out and, you know, let you know that you can do. So if you're like me, you have a million different eyeshadows, and I do like a colorful liner, and it's so much fun to be able to make whatever damn color you want. And these are dry. These guys are dry right here. And one nice thing about the inglot stuff is, well, maybe that purple one wasn't quite dry, is that they really do seem to stay put. I mean, they really do. I didn't wait long enough for that one. That was one of those ones that I got a little too much inglot, mixing medium or drops. Duraline. This is called Duraline. And you really do have to kind of pay attention to how much you're putting. You can always add more, but you can't really take it away. Okay guys, I think that's going to do it for this part. I hope that this was helpful and gives you some ideas for what you can do for pretty colorful liners and so forth. It occurred to me that it might be kind of fun for you to also see what these look like applied with a flat shader brush. There we go. I'll go ahead and do the same with the oil slick from Monique Boulay. That is fucking amazing. Amazing. Gorgeousness. Both of those. I'll just use that same brush and swipe up the Natasha Denona one just for fun. Oh yeah. So these would totally make a good, like, lid shade, kind of a cut crease thing going on. Let's see if we can you still, oh yeah, you can still blend that. Yeah, might take a little work. There's no reason why you couldn't do that. Anyway, just thought I'd add that in there too, just for fun, just to show you a couple of other things. But thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate your time here. I know you have a lot of choices out there as far as what to watch, so I appreciate your time here with me today. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and until next time, I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.